With the official Samsung Unpacked event confirmed and just over a week away, we pretty much know everything there is to know about the new Samsung Galaxy S21 series. What's up guys, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and as always, we're gonna break down all of the leaks and rumors Super Saf style to give you guys a very good idea of what to expect next week. So first things first, the official Unpacked event date has been confirmed as rumored for the 14th of January. So just over a week away, and that's when we're going to officially hear and see the S21 series. And it looks like we will have three Samsung Galaxy S21s. There's going to be an S21, an S21 Plus, as well as an S21 Ultra. Now, as last year as well, they will have different sizes. So the S21 will have a 6.2-inch display, the S21 Plus a 6.7-inch display, and the S21 Ultra with the largest 6.8-inch display. All three devices will have Samsung's Infinity O design with the punch-out and small bezels, and all three will have dynamic AMOLED technology and Gorilla Glass Victus. So this is Gorilla Glass 7, which we saw introduced on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra last year, but the differences pretty much stop there. So firstly, resolution. The S21 and the S21 Plus will have a full HD resolution, not Quad HD. The S21 Ultra will be the only S21 with a Quad HD resolution. Now, this is going to be the first time Samsung are going to be going back on resolution on an S device. We've had Quad HD for quite some time now. But the good news is that all devices will have up to a 120 Hz refresh rate. The S21 Ultra does seem to have an adaptive refresh rate, so it will be able to switch and will be better for battery life, whereas the S21 and the S21 Plus, as far as we can see right now, will only be able to switch between 60 and 120 Hz. Now, in terms of the resolution, I'm not sure how much of a big deal it will be for everybody. Currently on the S20 series as well as the Note 20 Ultra, you can only have 120 Hz if you go down to full HD resolution, which I'm assuming most people do anyway. So will it matter having just full HD on the S21 and the S21 Plus? I don't think it's going to be that much of a big deal personally. Let me know what you guys think. Now, the S21 Ultra, being the more premium device, will also have a higher peak brightness of 1600 nits, which is amazing. But the S21 and the S21 Ultra will also have a very respectable 1300 nits of peak brightness. And the S21 and S21 Plus will have flat displays this time, whereas the S21 Ultra will have slight curves on the edges. Now, Samsung S-series devices have usually had the curves for quite some time now, so it looks like Samsung is changing its tactics, and this is something that I'm sure a lot of people will welcome, because curved displays, although they look really cool, are not the most practical, and the trend now does seem to be going away from these curved displays. Moving on to the back of the devices, we do have an updated design, in particular with the camera module, which now curves into the edges of the devices. For the S21 Ultra, it looks like we're going to have a combination of metal and glass. The S21 Plus will also likely have the combination of metal and glass, but current rumors are suggesting that the S21 standard will have a combination of metal and plastic. This is a trend that we have seen from Samsung over their past few devices, such as with the Samsung Galaxy Note 20, as well as the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE series. And although this means that the S21 will not be as premium as the S21 Plus or the S21 Ultra, it does mean it will be coming in quite a bit lighter, and it should be quite a bit cheaper too. Let me know what you guys think of the plastic or glastic, like Samsung calls it. Generally, I think if you are going to be using a case, then it shouldn't be a problem. Now let's get to the cameras. So the S21 and the S21 Plus, it looks like they'll have pretty much the same cameras like we saw last year with the S20 and the S20 Plus. So it will be a triple rear-facing camera setup with a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 12 megapixel primary camera, as well as a 64 megapixel telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom. The telephoto camera is said to have an updated sensor, so it should be giving you better images, but generally the whole package, along with the hardware and software improvements, should give you better images compared to what we had last year with a 10 megapixel selfie camera. Now, the S21 Ultra is going to be the special one, and this will have a 40 megapixel front-facing camera and a quad rear-facing camera setup. So a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera with autofocus. This will allow you to focus in closer for macro shots using that same ultra-wide camera. Whether or not this will be available on the S21 and the S21 Plus is still a bit of a question mark. There will be a 108 megapixel primary camera like we had last year, but with an improved sensor, and then a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto camera, as well as a periscope zoom camera with 10 times optical zoom. Now, we have seen a similar setup on the Huawei P40 Pro Plus last year with the 2 zoom cameras, and this gives you a lot more scope for your zoom. You're not just at an extreme. If you do want to zoom in a little bit closer, around 3 times, then it's going to give you that flexibility. And the S21 Ultra will also have a laser autofocus sensor like we had on the Note 20 Ultra. So the S20 Ultra last year did have some focusing issues, but these were solved with the laser autofocus sensor on the Note 20 Ultra. So it looks like Samsung is carrying this over on to the S21 Ultra. We will also have some improvements for video. So we do have 8K at up to 30 frames a second, which is up from 24 frames a second last year, 4K at 60 frames a second, and 1080p at up to 240 frames a second. Now, these increased frame rates will be thanks to the processors. We do have the latest, and there is still going to be the differences between regions. Certain regions are going to be getting the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset, whereas other regions will be getting the Samsung Exynos 2100. Now, this is said to be improved and a lot more comparable to the 888, unlike what we've had in previous years, but of course this is something that I'm going to have to test out when I've got the devices in hand. And for RAM, the S21 and the S21 Plus will have 8 gigabytes of RAM, whereas the S21 Ultra will have 12 gigabytes of RAM. For storage, all devices will come with either 128 or 256 gigabyte storage options, but the S21 Ultra will also have a special 512 gigabyte version. Unfortunately, however, rumors are suggesting that the S21 series will no longer have micro SD card support. This is not confirmed as yet, but if it is the case, this will be the first time Samsung is not including a micro SD card slot on the S series for quite some time. I wonder how the audience is going to react. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, one new thing that we will be getting just on the S21 Ultra, which we've not had before, is support for the S Pen. The S Pen is something that we see on the Note series, so this will be the first time it's coming to the S series. However, it's not going to be included. It's going to be an accessory that's sold separately and likely to be bundled with a case because there is no slot for the S Pen within the S21 Ultra body. Now, initially when this news came about, there were rumors that the Note series may be discontinued, but this seems very unlikely because of the fact that this will be a separate accessory, just appealing to that audience that does want the S Pen with the S series, but it's not going to be something that everybody's going to go out and buy. Moving on for software, we will of course have the latest Android 11 with Samsung's One UI 3.1, and all devices will also have an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner like we've seen from Samsung over the past years. Unfortunately, it does not look like we're going to be getting Qualcomm's 3D Sonic Max just yet. Now, for the batteries, the S21 being the smallest device will have the smallest battery at 4000 milliamp hours. The S21 Plus will have a larger 4,800 milliamp hour battery, and the S21 Ultra with the largest 5,000 milliamp hour battery. For charging, it looks like the S21 and the S21 Plus will be able to support a maximum of 25 watt charging, whereas the S21 Ultra may have the ability to charge at up to 45 watts. However, pretty much all rumors are saying that Samsung is no longer going to be including a charger or earphones out of the box. So it looks like Samsung is going to be following Apple's footsteps after making fun of them last year. They seem to do this a lot, don't they? But anyway, let me know what you guys think of the S21 S21 series not having a charger out of the box. Good news is Qi wireless charging, of course, will be supported across all devices, as well as reverse wireless charging, wireless power share. Now for the price, well, we've only had Euro pricing leaked so far, with the S21 coming in at 849 euros, which is going to be quite a bit less than the S21 Plus, which is rumored to come in at 1,049 euros, with the S21 Ultra coming in at 1,349 euros. These will be for the base models. Of course, you will be paying more for the larger storage options, and you can do the maths and figure out how much these will be in your region based on these prices that we have at this point. Now, we already know that the unpacked date is going to be the 14th of January, with pre-orders beginning that day, and the release date is likely going to be the 29th of January. So that's going to be very, very soon. And of course, as soon as we have the S21 devices in hand, there will be lots of coverage here on the channel, Super Saf style. So if you want to make sure you see all of that first, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. That way you won't miss any of it. What do you guys think of the S21 series so far? Do drop me your comments below. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.